We are live now. What is going on, guys? It's Sports Wars. It's NFL Sunday. And you know, I don't have anything to worry about this Sunday. It's nice. My Bears already took care of business against the Dallas Cowboys and Jason Garrett and Jared Jones on Thursday night. And
I think you guys killed the coach too. Not only did you beat the Cowboys, I think you signed the coach's fate. I think Garrett's fate is signed. Has to be. Right?
Man, I don't know, man. We have someone here who has inside experience with Jason Garrett, with that organization. And he's right here. The observant lineman, Jay Waneri. How's it going, sir?
Gentlemen, how are you doing this wonderful Sunday afternoon?
Oh, it's nice.
I'm good.
I was just saying I'm good because my Bears already took care of business. Nothing to worry about. I've got a bye in both my leagues. I've got a bye for the first week of fantasy playoffs. So I'm just sitting back relaxing. It's nice.
Nice. Yeah, those Bears took care of business, didn't they? Making those Cowboys or validating that those Cowboys are chumps.
Do you think the Bears also killed the coach too? Got him fired with that win?
The Bears? Oh, you talking about Garrett killing Garrett?
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys.
No, he's been. I think his fate was sealed when they lost to New England. To be honest.
So New England.
Yeah, I think the New England game, because that was like the measuring stick game. That was the must-win. That winning that game would have sent a statement for them. They would have been in a position firmly in control of their division, beat a top-tier contender, being the first team with the winning record that they've beaten since week 13 of last year.
Yeah.
So, the Cowboys had a lot to prove with that game, weren't able to get it done. Then you have the Buffalo game, which wasn't at all a surprise to me. I mean, Dallas is usually a strong team on Thanksgiving, but I pretty much figured that based on what I had seen from Buffalo and how they played against say New England Patriots team earlier in the season, where they should have won that game had they not lost their starting quarterback. They probably would have won that game.
You got your coat on, man. Are you cold?
Oh man, this is my Sunday road, man. See, look at that. Sunday road, custom made with my Sith hoodie.
There you go.
Nice.
My Sith hoodie. So, but yeah. At the end of the day, that game was what was going to actually define that team for the season. They lost it, and aside from the score, it really wasn't competitive like the score would have you think
I
it
stopped
was.
Watching a little bit. Yeah, I was kind of like,
yeah, it wasn't a competitive game, and then they lose to Buffalo, Buffalo's a better coach team than they are. Buffalo has half the talent and is better coached and executes better. And then you have the game against the Bears, which, that was a game that actually on the flip side gives a lot of validation back to Mitch Trubisky, because, I mean, obviously the struggles that he has been having throughout the season, he now is in a position where he can make the case that he is the kind of quarterback that can lead Chicago. I don't think he is. And I think that he may get replaced next year by somebody like Cam Newton, or maybe Teddy Bridgewater, but definitely
Jerry Jones will ride with Garrett till the end of the season, right? He'll just
he's determined to just let it ride out. I think he knows it's going to come down to Dallas and Philadelphia at the end of the year.
Yeah, but with like 7-9 records.
Yeah, you may possibly have playoff team coming out of the NFC East that doesn't even have a winning record, which, I mean, that's pretty bad. I mean,
8-8's looking pretty likely. That I think that's what it's going to end up being. Whoever wins it.
Who do they have? Who do they have next week?
I am not sure. So I know the Eagles play the Giants tonight. So they should both be 6-7 by next week, and then they play each other one more time, I believe. Let's see. Man, didn't have all this pulled up, but. It was great to see Mitch. That's the thing with Mitch Trubisky. I literally made a video on this channel a couple days ago a couple weeks ago, talking about how Mitch Trubisky's done. Get him out of there. The dude's a beta. Can't handle the criticism. He looks like he has no idea what's going on. Madden, when I play Madden, one of the things that's extremely accurate is anytime Mitch Trubisky throws off his back foot, the ball just sails anywhere, because that's literally exactly what happens with him whenever he doesn't plant his feet. So it's so freaking frustrating. So Philly plays Washington next week.
If they lose that game, Philly lost to the Dolphins, man.
And Dallas plays the Rams.
Ooh, yeah, they did lose to those Dolphins.
Like we finally won a team, but it was like, how you lose to the Dolphins? I don't know what the Dolphins are doing.
Look, you know what that really is. The truth of the matter with that is that it doesn't matter how bad any team is in the NFL. They're still an NFL team.
Yeah,
any team can win any game. It doesn't matter who it is or what their record is. Now, for example, I have a story to go with this. My second year in the NFL, what were we? We were I think we were 6-3. I think we were 6-3. We were 6-5. We're going into Cincinnati to play in. No, my bad. We were 4-3. Going into Cincinnati to play against an 0-8 Cincinnati Bengals. I got benched that game. We lost to the Cincinnati Bengals, and all week it's crazy because all week in practice, our O-line coach was telling me, "Ooch, they're going to run this stunt. Got to be ready for it. And I fucked that stunt up all week in practice. And during the game, I was just like, like, I don't know what I was like. That was like probably one of the only games throughout my career where I honestly felt like I didn't know what the hell I was doing. And that was my first year as a starter, but they ran that game. Sure enough, in the fourth quarter, we were down by like 3 points. They ran that game on a third down. I got blindsided by the defensive end, and the the linebacker looped all the way around, hit David Garrard, forced him to throw an interception. Knocked his pass off of it messed up his follow through. Throws an interception. I go to the sideline. O-line coach comes over to me. Ooch, just come stand next to me on this next drive. I'm like, what?
Oh man.
I was a starter the next week again, but that's how bad that game was. And that was to a team that had no wins. So any team can win any week of the season. It doesn't matter what the record is.
Nice. All right. Well, let's get into talking about what we have coming up. We talked about what's going on Thursday, but what we have coming up, we have some pretty big games this week, guys, especially when you're looking at playoff implications, whether it's seeding or just who's actually going to make it. So the first one I wanted to talk about, it is a big one that's coming up here in 45 minutes. 49ers at the Saints, 10-2 teams from the NFC. It's going to be at New Orleans, so that crowd's always popping. A pretty tough environment for that 49ers team, a fairly inexperienced team to go into. What are you guys' initial thoughts about that, and maybe who has the edge?
I'm going with 49ers. I'm going with the 49ers. I think they're going to come in and shock the Saints. It probably will be a slinging game, man. Like they like it could be a high scoring game, but I think the 49ers, I think they're going to win this game and prove they'll be the team to beat going into the playoffs. So I've never played in the Saints arena, so I don't know how loud, how crazy that would get, but I think the 49ers are going to be the team to. I would love to see the 49ers beat the Pats in the Super Bowl, honestly, with the quarterback situation. I think that would be funny. In my opinion, since my team has no shot of ever, I have to cheer for the weird stuff now. When your team sucks,
cheering on other teams.
Yeah, you got to cheer for people, cheering for other people to cry. That's what I'm cheering for at this point.
That's called the conservation of happiness. I totally believe this theory. There's only so much happiness in the world, so if you don't have any, you need to take it away from others.
Who was a Patriot. He was like, dude, I could play. And Brady's like, I still got 20 more years left, buddy. So they're like, all right, I'll go somewhere else. And now I'm going to kick your ass, and I'll beat you in the Super Bowl. Now what do you got to say there, New England? Anyway, I thought that, to me, that would be a glorious, because a Dolphin fan, we hate the Patriots and the Jets and the Bills. And all
that's y'all's division. You're hating division opponents. I'm going to go with the Saints. That Superdome is one of the hardest places to play in the NFL. We played there. We scored in the first 8 seconds of the game, and we didn't score again until the fourth quarter. They have that 12th man is always there for the Saints. They've just got an amazing, a level of support from their fans. I mean, you got Drew Brees out there, you got Mike Thomas out there, you got a bunch of all pro players. Their defense is solid. I think if there's any way that they lose, it's going to be behind, just a poor performance from Drew Brees. But when is the last time that we can honestly say we've had a poor performance from Drew Brees? You're going to have to score at least 30 points to beat the Saints on average, week in and week out in the NFL. So
the 49ers can do that.
The 49ers can do that. Yeah, that's not to say that they can't score points. I mean, they are a premier squad in the NFL, obviously, but this game has a lot to do with seeding. And when you have to play, winning going from one coast to the other to play football is a hard thing to do, a lot harder than people think. In Jacksonville, I think we lost 4 West Coast games by a combined total of like 91-8 score. Like, it's hard to go from coast to coast to play because of that time difference. Your body's not necessarily ready for it, regardless of how long you go or how early you go. But I just really feel like, the Saints have such a high tempo offense, such a great leader in Drew Brees. His ability to read defenses is immaculate. I mean, it's going to be a very tough game for the 49ers to go in and win. I would give them a 35% chance of taking the win, 35-40%. But, it's going to be hard. It's going to be really hard for them.
Yeah, I agree too. I do think that I give this one just slightly to New Orleans. I do think that San Francisco is the team to beat. Well, between them and the Seahawks, I would like to see. I'd like to see that again. I think that when you look at that defense, that front line, the fact that they're able to get that kind of pressure on people, Russ, when you're playing the Seahawks against Russ Wilson, and he can do things to evade that and neutralize your rush because of how elusive he is. With Drew Brees, who is mobile in the pocket, he can move around in the pocket, but he can't really get out too much. I think you're going to see a lot of really small short passes to Michael Thomas, who is not opposed to going over the middle and catching a 3-yard slant. Michael Thomas will take that all day. You're going to see a lot of things with Alvin Kamara, who I feel like has been a little quieter than we maybe expected from him this year. Not how much of that has to do with Teddy Bridgewater being the quarterback for 6 games or whatever it was that Drew was out. It's going to be interesting. We've already had one bad Drew Brees game this year, and that was against the Falcons, where he came up. He had his one bad game of the year. So I don't think we're going to see a repeat performance. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a great game, but I edge slightly to New Orleans.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, odd man out. So that's what I'm cheering for.
So that's a game for everybody to take a look at and make sure they keep up with the score.
Listen to the NBA guy. I'm telling you,
and we've got a $1.99 super chat from Sir Ruin of House Roundhead. Who is the best team in the NFL? Ravens?
Yeah, I'd go with the Ravens. Ravens are the best team overall. I mean, their defense is hawkish. They had 2 bad games this year, but for the most part, their defense has been that traditional Baltimore defense, dominant, fast, ferocious style of play. And their offense is just an offense that nobody's able to keep up with right now in the NFL. I don't think that there's a defense out there that can actually, stifle Lamar Jackson and the versatility that he brings to the game. I mean, the guy is playing on another level. He literally he pretty much has the MVP locked up. But I think a close second to them is, in my opinion, I think Seattle's a close second with San Francisco right behind them. Those are the 3 best teams in the NFL right now. And, there's probably a good 2.5 games worth of difference between that group of 3 and everybody else, as far as like the just kind of making us a synonym of the lead that they have over the rest of the NFL. They're 2.5 games ahead of everybody else.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree. Yeah, I agree.
And that And that leads us. But when you're looking at San Francisco and Seattle, and we got Snowdub in the chat, who's a huge Seattle guy. But I think that it's interesting because I feel like the defensive edge goes to San Francisco with all the pieces they have assembled there. And even a lot of the weapons, I think, maybe go to San Francisco. But the big X factor is Russell Wilson, who just gives so much to that team that even though I don't think they're quite up to par roster-wise, he makes everything fit for them.
But if we're talking about playoffs too, man, home field is – how big is home field, Uche? I mean, it's –
home field is huge. Just having one home playoff game is huge. It's extremely hard to go on the road and win in the playoffs. That's for the teams that are trying to get in. You want to get in. You want to win your division so you can get a home playoff game.
Yeah.
So getting that kind of takes the pressure off somewhat as far as comparing that to somebody with the first seed who's getting that first round bye. But it's definitely that's what all these teams are playing for right now. And it's just as serious as the teams that are trying to get in, just as a wild card, just trying to slide in at the end. Yeah,
so that's what I figured, just playing like the Seahawks, like their home base is really that's probably I don't know. When I watch, that's one of the hardest places to win at.
Oh, absolutely.
The NFL. So
yeah, it is that I mean, dude, I think I've played in every stadium. Seattle, definitely number one. I would put Pittsburgh number two for me. And
what about Philly?
I mean, I would we didn't play any regular season games in Philly, so it was never like a game that was,
What about Kansas City? Everyone says Kansas City's really loud too.
I'm confused. I'm conflicted with Kansas City just because we played there like fourth or fifth game of the season one year, and
they were trash when you played them, though, right? Like
no, they were a solid team. That was the team that beat Andrew Luck in the playoffs, or no, that lost to Andrew Luck. They had the big lead and lost.
Yeah.
Alex those Smith, guys, their stadium they've got a ton. It gets loud, but it's not the same kind of loud as like a New Orleans where it feels like the crowd is on top of you.
Wow. Well, there's no roof.
It's so open. It's like it's a bowl, so it's wide. It's got a lot of width.
It's not like that Seattle. It's not like the Seattle stadium.
Seattle
literally been constructed. It's literally been constructed to be loud.
Yeah. Uche, does it get so loud you can't even hear the person next to you? Has it ever gotten that loud where you can't hear the calls or hear? Yeah.
And like in Seattle, we played Seattle, and we came into the Seattle game 2-0. And so it was a big early game in the season, and dude, I couldn't hear none of us could hear the quarterback in the huddle. We couldn't hear anything he was saying. He was screaming.
It's that serious, huh?
Yeah, it was loud as shit. He was screaming as loud as he could to say the plays, and you could
in the huddle.
F it, just go out there.
Like,
no, you're hearing him very faintly, but you're reading his lips because you know the formations, you know how you're just listening for your part of the play, right? So you got the formation, you have the motion, you have the protection, and then you have the routes. So we're listening on the line. We're just looking to see what is the formation and what is the protection. And once you read his lips and see what he's saying, then you know what the play is going to be.
Is that you get a lot of hand signals when it's really loud like that? Like
no, he's trying to hear it from his headset. So he's literally like bent over in the huddle waiting to hear the play. And then he starts screaming it.
And that's the worst thing you do. I hear like when they do that, they get even louder. Like
yeah. And you get to the line of scrimmage, dude. No, couldn't. I mean, I'm looking at my periph at the quarterback in my stance because I can't hear nothing he's saying. I look a little bit to see, and you can hear like the hum of his voice. So I'm like trying to listen, peek a little bit, then get ready to go. And that's where you have like a lot of times we'll do shotgun, you do silent count. Because there's, at a point you're just not gonna be able to call the play at the line. It's just not gonna work.
Man, where was the worst fans you ever played? Like just so nasty and like cursing and throwing things and. You had a couple of those experiences.
I think Houston was one stadium, right? Like because we had a rivalry with them. Our division. Those people are pissy when you come into the stadium.
What do the people in Indianapolis yell at you?
Yeah, the Indianapolis crowd, they're too far away from us to say anything.
That is true. They are very far away in that stadium.
Yeah, they're far away from the sideline. They're not – they have the walls. When you come out from the tunnel, the walls are pretty high. So they can't really say nothing to you if they wanted to. But Tennessee's fans are pretty rough when you come into town. And Pittsburgh fans hate Jacksonville. They hate us because we usually kick their ass, whether we're doing good that season or not. Because we're kind of the same team, right? Traditionally with the power run game and intermediate passing, but yeah.
Nice. Well, that talk about the Ravens kind of leads us into another big matchup that could have some playoff implications. And when we started this season, I don't think that people were a little worried about the Patriots with Gronko now, but I mean, it's the Patriots, right? Didn't think anyone would challenge them in that division. We talked about it before the season right here, Uche. We all said it's not even worth talking about. Right now, Buffalo's sitting at 9-3. So a little stumble from the Patriots, and if Buffalo keeps winning, you could legitimately have someone challenge them for that AFC East. Now, Ravens are playing the Bills today. We talked about the Ravens, how good we think they are. We don't think anybody's going to stop them. Bills have a defense that are going to try. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts, Jay, on this game and what it could mean and who you think's got the edge?
That's the thing. The Bills are playing. They know what's in front of them, man. They looking at the Patriots, and at least to try to get it. I think the Bills believe they could beat the Patriots at home in the playoffs. But it's just they're gonna have to come out and really show something. If they pull out a victory against the Ravens, they'll be the top story, man.
I think that's going to be the upset. I think that's the upset this week.
I think that could possibly be the top story in the NFL. So
I think Buffalo beats the Ravens this week.
Wow,
really?
Yeah.
Listen to that.
Guys, they're on a roll, man. Like, you got to think about it. These are two teams that are both having a great season. How many games in a row has Buffalo's on a pretty decent winning streak right now, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they're soaring.
These are two teams that are both, ascending. So it kind of boils down to some intangibles. It's going to boil down to special teams play. It's going to boil down to turnovers. And Buffalo is at home, and don't get it twisted. That their home crowd is not. It's a solid crowd. It'll get loud there. It'll get loud.
Has the cold ever affected a team? Because Buffalo gets freezing.
So much. I've played them a few times in Buffalo. We always ended up playing them right before it got cold, so it was like chilly, but not like snowing or anything. But still, those people are going to be there in support. And the Bills have never, even when I was playing them during my career, they were never a pushover team by any means. They're a solid squad. So this is a fan base that's ready for the Buffalo Bills to take the next step. This is a fan base that is going to be fully behind them. It's going to be an electric atmosphere. The Ravens are going to get Buffalo's best game of the season. That's a guarantee.
I think their confidence is really high too in Buffalo. So that's a huge part. Yeah. You go in knowing that we're going to smack any team in the mouth that comes in our house. I think that's a huge thing. Because I know you look at the Dolphins, they're just not confident. But they're getting there. I think after this win with the Eagles, might have pushed.
Well, Ryan Fitzpatrick gives every team a little bit of swag, Well, by every team, I mean just real shitty ones, right? He comes into real shitty teams, just acts like a big dog,
with his taco meat out,
yeah, exactly.
And his aviators.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
I see a question here from Will Gentry. Says, Uche, did you play for anyone else, or were you just in Jacksonville your whole time? I played my whole career in Jacksonville. I played like part of the season in Dallas before I got released from there. But yeah, I don't even tell people really I played for Dallas. I tell them I only played for Jacksonville.
And then invalids to official. The Bills are pretenders, in my opinion, that a weak schedule this year. I can see that. I've been really impressed with just the way that they've held together. I feel like Buffalo is typically a little bit chaotic, whether it be at the coaching level or what they're doing on the field. Josh Allen has surprised me. He hasn't played the best, but I thought he was garbage when he got drafted. I didn't think that he was going to be able to do anything. He's shown that he has the ability to, he's shown that he has the ability to throw effectively and to run very effectively. And
he's a good runner, man.
He's limiting the turnovers. He's limiting his turnovers. So $2 super chat from Rhodes Rants. $2.12. Weird super chat amounts just for drunk.
Thanks,
hey, bros. Hey, what's up, man?
My brain is click over. Like I see $2. So
Buffalo. This has been. I mean, their schedule is. It's on the weaker side, but still, I mean, they have. They got a quality win against Dallas in Dallas on Thanksgiving, and this is the biggest game of the season for them. They're on a 3-game win streak. I think they come to play. I think they win the game today.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting. I think it's tough for me to. Listen, I've been in denial of Lamar Jackson for a while now, until about halfway through this season. I can no longer do that. I'm not going to go against him in this game, or maybe in any game until maybe a rematch with the Patriots in the playoffs. And even then it's going to be tough. But I'm going to go with that team. That they are absolutely rolling right now. Lamar Jackson's doing things that I find incredible. They have a great combination there between him running the ball and Mark Ingram running the ball, and that tight end, I forget his name, but the tight end and Lamar Jackson have an incredible connection. Andrews, right? They have an incredible connection, and it's just going to keep going as far as I see. We'll see what happens. Jay Rickman says, "Please fire Jason the Clap Garrett already."
That's what I'm saying, man. When I was in Dallas, I was like, "Yo, this guy is the most phoniest motivator ever. He doesn't inspire me in the slightest. And why does he never stop smiling? Why does it always look like he's smiling? When he's talking, it looks like he's smiling. When he's standing there, it looks like he's smiling, and he claps all the time. He would do that shit during training camp, and I would just be like, all right, whatever. Whatever.
And some people have been asking about what's going on in with college football playoff. I don't think there's going to be a lot of drama. We'll cover that real quick. I don't think there's going to be a lot of drama. The only thing people are going to be talking about is who deserves to be number 1, LSU or Ohio State. I think that LSU with their schedule will probably get the edge. And then it'll be Ohio State 2, Clemson 3, and Oklahoma 4. It's going to be a drama-free college football playoff as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's going to be a pretty straightforward one to predict who's going to win. LSU. I think that Oklahoma barely escaped by the skin of their teeth. They're going to be out in the first game. And Ohio State, I don't think Ohio State's going to have the speed or the defensive scheme to really play. I just don't think it's going to be close. I think it's a 10-point game for anybody that LSU goes against this season. And they have a quarterback that's looking somewhat NFL ready right now, but that's just my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to an Ohio State LSU matchup. I do think that'll be a good game. I think Ohio State is faster than maybe any Ohio State team we've ever seen before. So it'll be good. It'll be good. But we do have a $5 super chat here from John Matrix. Uche, lifelong Cowboys fan, and I wouldn't want to claim playing for them under Coach Clap Jason Garrett. What's up, Jay and Ryan? Hey, what's up, buddy? Thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you, John.
Yeah, good people. They have their own sports channel going over there, Black and White Sports. There it is. Yeah, there it is right there.
That's what's up. Shout out.
So
exactly.
You guys want to collab? Is that why y'all in here super chatting us? Is that what's happening?
But so we do have a couple more big games. Again, with playoff implications. We've got a rematch from last year's AFC Championship, and that's coming on the afternoon game, and that's Chiefs at Patriots. The Patriots who, although they've only lost 2 games, it feels like the sky is falling, which is, typically how it always feels when the Patriots lose 2 games. But it does feel maybe a little different this time with the way that offense has looked.
Yeah.
You've got a Chiefs team who's not the powerhouse that they were last year offensively. They're still showing sparks, but it's not rolling for them like it was before. Jay, what are your thoughts on this game? And
anytime the Patriots lose, it's a victory for me. So I hope they get pounded. I want to see Tom Brady steaming on the side, yelling at people, because that makes it even better. That makes it even a sweeter thing for us Dolphin fans. So
I thought that was so weird when they spent so much time and attention focused on Brady talking to his receivers. Brady does that like all the time. Nearly every game you see him on the sidelines. He wasn't even that upset. Like, it's very strange, but everyone's got to find something to talk about.
I love when they troll him all the time. You know, like that one time he had his hand up and no one would give him a high five, and he went around and did that. He goofed on it a few times. Like it's all good. But I Patriots need to lose, man. They need to lose. They need to lose big, and then we'll go from there. They might not lose big, but that's just where I'm at. So
I mean, I just feel like through the course of this season, when you look at the Patriots and how they've struggled on offense, it hasn't really changed anything because their defense has played that much better. So I don't see that changing this week. I think they beat Kansas City.
Yeah, I think they do too. I think that they're definitely gonna.
Yeah, that's probably what will happen, but I can't.
It's in New England, so they're definitely going to beat Kansas City.
Yeah. What do you mean by that, Uche?
I mean that they're probably going to find some way to gain favor from the refs during the game, and they'll probably win because that's what they do in New England. They cheat to win. No. But seriously, that's a hard place to win, dude. I mean, it's probably the hardest place to win, not because of just the crowd, but just because it's the hardest stadium to go into and win a game in. I mean, those guys have been world champs for 6 out of 9 years for a reason, and their home turf has been a place that they have generally not lost at. So I don't expect that to change just because Tom Brady's struggling. He's struggling. The offense is struggling, but at the same time, I mean, they're able to put up some points. So as long as they can put up more than 10 points, I think they win.
What do you think has been the difference with the Chiefs this year? Because I think to everybody watching, last year was historic, right? What they did. So you can't really expect them to be on that same page. But for me, last year after Kareem Hunt went out and they lost him, by went out, I mean like went out and hit his woman or whatever. Yeah, and got released. They seemed different. They didn't seem like quite the same team. And I feel like that's carried over into this year. Now, Damian Williams is fine, but I just think that Kareem Hunt brings a whole new dynamic to them. Is that maybe a difference that you see in their team this year?
Yeah, the running game is always huge and helping set the tone for a team. I mean, with the Chiefs and how they performed last year, I mean, like you said, there's no way that you can expect them to have a repeat performance this year. But also at the same time, you had the injury to Patrick Mahomes. You had, a defense that has struggled to, really play and pick up their play as of late. They just haven't been on the radar. They haven't been on the radar, and I think it has more to do with the fact that Mahomes he isn't having the same kind of year that he had last year, but he's still having a good year. And that initial shock and awe of his ability, defenses are prepared to play against it a little bit better this year, and that's obviously going to bring some of the numbers down, but I think there's still a legitimate threat in the AFC. I just don't think that they're going to necessarily have that answer to the Patriots this time.
Nice. I've seen some people in chat talking about rumors that they think Brady's gone after this year, and I've heard some of those rumblings too. Jay, with the way the Patriots have played, with their little bit lackluster offense this year, do you think, and all the rumors that are always swirling about how Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and Robert Kraft somehow aren't on the same page or couldn't work out their issues, do you think that there's a chance Brady's gone next year from New England?
No. I hear, man, like I said, in Miami, we hear that every year, and after a while, we're just like, we don't want to hear it anymore because they always come back. I think if Brady doesn't get hurt, he probably will play a couple more years. Honestly, he's got the offense is set up perfectly for him. The little crossover routes and things like that, and he can get the ball out quick as long as he doesn't get smacked or hurt. I think they'll be back. I mean, why not? They keep winning. Yeah. I mean, as you keep winning, like if their season sucked this year, like if they just couldn't win, then I would consider it. But if they keep winning the divisions and they keep getting home field advantage, and why stop? You know what I mean?
And the Chargers has been a big thing that people are talking about. And so from being out here, I can tell you that the Chargers are like one of the least respected organizations. They're so chaotic. No one takes them seriously. I can't see Brady wanting to go there. I get the California stuff. They do have, really great weapons, but I just can't see him wanting to step into an organization like that after spending 20 years with the Patriots.
Can I ask Uche a question about that? So we, the fan, we hear those type of things all the time. Did you guys ever hear like ridiculous trade rumors in the locker room and y'all just kind of laughed at it? Where you hear about like your coach getting fired or like a quarterback getting traded, and you're like, what? Do you ever like ask your friends like, hey man, I heard you're getting traded?
Nah, I wouldn't say that we really heard anything like that. Okay. I mean, you kind of know what's going on in that respect when whichever team that you're on, for the players, we kind of know what's going on. You kind of know who's going to get traded just generally because
it's how it is. Huh?
It's there's that word of mouth kind of passes around the building before it gets outside of the building. And I mean, honestly, I don't think Tom Brady's leaving the Patriots. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to, even if he's not having a good year or a great year by anyone's standards at quarterback, they're still 10-2. Can't argue against the record. Can't argue against the credentials, but they will likely be drafting his successor in this upcoming draft. So,
yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I kind of agree. I agree with that. I think that everyone wants. We talk about it every year. It seems for the past 5 years because we think Brady's getting old, and there's all this. They want a Garoppolo to stay and all this stuff, but they work it out, and they have every reason to because what they're doing is successful.
Yeah.
So. We've got a couple other games that do have some implications here. So Tennessee Titans at the Raiders. Houston is, in control of that division at 8-4. Titans are right behind them at 7-5, just outside of the playoff spot for the wild card. If the season ended today, Tennessee has been impressive to me this year with Mike Vrabel kind of steadying things out as a coach. The defense has been good. Ryan Tannehill has come in. Jay, I want you to talk about Ryan Tannehill. Did you see this Ryan Tannehill in Miami?
Yeah. He was our guy. He got the $100 million.
Yeah, they gave that bum $100 million, didn't they?
Yeah, and like we were supposed to build around him, and we let him go. And look, he was a backup, and now look at him, man. He's soaring. Like I said, I think he's only lost one game since starting. One game. And he's put Tennessee back where they need to be. So where does that put the Tennessee original side? Mariota, right? That's how you say his name?
Yeah.
Where does that put him in all this? If
trade?
Trade.
I think he's done, right?
I think this is the last year of his contract. Yeah.
Him and Jameis Winston, I believe, from that draft, it's both the last year of their contracts. So you're going to see both those guys. Jameis Winston's done in Tampa Bay. I don't think they want to see any more of him. So I think that it's going to be the next step for those guys. They're going to be looking for maybe starters on shit teams or backups somewhere. Maybe a team like Chicago takes a flyer at a dude like Mariota to come in there and challenge Trubisky. I would hate that because you just have another average quarterback. But I could see them doing something like that.
They'll go to Miami. Miami loves to have average quarterbacks. Tannehill, man, that's like I'm actually happy for him. I'm actually going to be cheering for him. I loved him in Miami. He was a good dude. He did a lot of him and his wife did amazing things in the community for the poor, for kids in homes, for Boys and Girls Club. It was like nonstop what they did in Miami, which I know a lot of players do. I don't get me wrong. So he was a good guy in the community. Like everybody really liked him in the community. But man, he found a system that's working for him. That's like, I think, and Uche, please correct me if I'm wrong because I'm not a player, but I think finding the right systems that you work in is it really helps your performance overall. Is that?
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right, and I think that's been part of Marcus Mariota's problem. Is that he's playing on a team that really doesn't fit his skill set. Their scheme isn't really designed for what he can bring to the table. He needs to be in a faster paced offense. He needs to be in a West Coast specific offense. And the Tennessee Titans are more of a power run based intermediate passing team. They're not so much of a spread team, but I think he thrives in he'll thrive in a scheme that is set more towards the spread offense with the quick routes, more like a spread West Coast offense. What you see out of the Pac-12, which is exactly what he's fitted for. I just don't think that he's fit for prototypical pro style under center play action type of offense. It just doesn't work for him, and that's what he looks average now, but I don't think he's average, honestly. I think he can be a good quarterback with he just has to be in the right system.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're really steady with Tannehill there now, a dude who doesn't really turn the ball over. He's kind of had a little spurt. He's my fantasy quarterback right now. I benched Philip Rivers' ass for him. So he's been doing me good so far. We got a $5 super chat from Howard Gleason. Who's got the balls to call Jeremy and say Alabama sucks and then hang up?
All right, can I say that something?
I do that every day.
Uche ran Jeremy out of our chat with Alabama sucks stuff. So it was like Jeremy answered one thing, and then it was like Uche's like, "Where you at? Where you at? Why is it quiet in here? Why is it quiet in here? Where's the Alabama? Where you at? Where you at?" There was nothing else needed to be said. So you're looking at it right there. Actually, all of us, we have no problem. I don't like Alabama. I'm a Hurricanes fan, but I can't talk. So,
and then Jeremy tried talking shit about Purdue, and then Uche said, "How many people has Alabama put on the moon?"
We put the first man on the moon. We do things that change mankind.
And then his question is, how deep does Seattle go in the playoffs? It's going to be tough for you to imagine a world where they don't get to the NFC Championship game.
That's what I was thinking, yeah. NFC title game and lose to the 49ers.
That's the thing. That's why it's such a big game coming up here for that San Francisco game like we talked about earlier. Because right now New Orleans is the number 1 seed. They hold the tiebreaker over Seattle with a head-to-head win. So if they finish with the same record, they're going to stay there. And depending on what happens, you're looking at a San Francisco team who could go like 13-3 and be a wild card team. So
I think if they don't win it all, man, I'd be shocked not to see them in a pending injury. I mean, I guess you could say that about any team, like pending injury, but
yeah, that's just going to be, that's going to be tough. Seattle has the potential right now to get through a bye, and
yeah,
I could definitely see both San Francisco and Minnesota winning their wild card game, and then Minnesota playing New Orleans and Seattle having to face San Francisco, in that divisional round.
That's not fair.
No, it's not fair that you could have 2 13-3 teams facing each other in that divisional round. From what I'm looking at, where it may play out. Yeah. So if that happens, who knows? But I do think that they are, definitely. The best, them and San Francisco are the 2 best teams in the NFC.
Mm-hmm. Getting back to Nick Saban, the reason why I hate Alabama, Nick Saban was the coach of the Miami Dolphins.
Ruined them.
He totally wrecked the team, and then he did this. He had a press conference when all the rumors were swirling that he was going to get out of his contract early to go back to college. He did a press conference where he bold-faced lied to everyone in Miami. He's like, "No, I'm not a guy who does that. I will stay here for my entire contract. I'm going to," he bold-faced lied to everyone saying, "No, we're going to finish the job. We've got some things coming up." And then 2 weeks later, he just left. He just got on a plane and left to Alabama. So just bold-faced, dude, in front of everyone. He's like, "I know there's a lot of rumors swirling me about leaving back to college. No, I'm staying. I'm sticking out my contract, blah, blah, blah." It just bold-faced lied. Got on a plane and left after that. So
that's why everybody brings it up every time that there's an NFL job offer for him and he says no. Everyone's like, "Well, you lied that time." But we got $2 super chat from Chris Corrant. Best thing from Purdue, Mike Allstott. Mike Allstott, one of the last true big freaking fullback / running back hybrids. Mike Allstott was a freaking beast, man. I loved him playing for Tampa Bay too.
I loved him too. I grew up a Niners and a Tampa Bay fan, so definitely loved his style. Mike Allstott. I mean, he was as good as a running back. They would put him at running back sometimes. So Purdue definitely representing. Drew Brees, another name you might want to drop out there. You know what I mean?
I was gonna say I would say Drew Brees maybe. And you got so many. They've got
there
many
are a
good
lot of ballers in the NFL who come out of Purdue. Like I remember,
Ryan Kerrigan, Cliff Averill. You got a bunch of defensive linemen for a long time. They were putting
Anthony
out
Spencer.
Yeah, great defensive linemen. As far as like skill position players, maybe not
we don't
so
do
much.
skill position. We do D line, we do O line, and we do quarterbacks. That's it.
Man, I thought Stubblefield. I thought he was going to have a little.
Stubblefield.
I thought he was going to have a little NFL career, man. I thought that just
Dorian Bryant. Nah, he just turned out to be gay.
I didn't know that, but I mean, Kyle Orton. I gotta say too, Kyle Orton, who's your boy? He's my boy too.
Yeah, he was good. Underrated.
One of the reasons I say fuck Tim Tebow for taking Kyle Orton's job that way. If you would just told Kyle Orton,
you mean Rex Grossman?
Fuck Rex Grossman too.
Mean Rex Grossman and Tim Tebow, those fucking bastards. Florida boys taking his job in Chicago and Denver. What the hell?
Kyle Orton goes like 10-5 or something with the Bears that season. Goes like 10-5 with the Bears that season. They bring in Rex Grossman. Oh God. But anyway,
in the playoffs,
Rex Grossman could have been a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
If Charles Tillman doesn't slip in the fucking rain in Miami or wherever, and Reggie Wayne just gets a wide open touchdown, who's to know what could have happened in that Super Bowl?
Oh my goodness, man! Rex Grossman, could you imagine that? Hey, we have Rex Grossman, Super Bowl winning quarterback. I mean,
Super Bowl
Rex Grossman has more Super Bowls than Dan Marino. Yeah,
I mean, have you ever seen a quarterback who any other quarterback who has ever earned a Super Bowl berth the least than Rex Grossman? I mean, Dilfer played the whole season at quarterback, though.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true.
I mean, Rex Grossman didn't even play until the playoffs.
Yeah,
and they barely get into the damn Super Bowl. But Kyle Orton led him there. Kyle Orton was the leader of the team. He had the respect of the players.
Yeah, and
if he's the quarterback in the Super Bowl, they probably have a ring.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't even want to think. I don't even want to fucking think about it. Let's move on.
Man, I had as a kid, Dan Marino never got the ring either. So it's just Miami loves to play quarterback dance. So we signed Dante Culpepper over Drew Brees. That's another one of my Nick Saban stick it in your butt moves.
I mean, Culpepper is a good quarterback though.
Yeah, but he didn't fit well in that system, man.
He didn't.
What they were trying to do.
You're also comparing him to Drew Brees, who's going to go down in history as the most prolific player.
Drew Brees was a second-round pick. Like nobody knew that Drew Brees would be the quarterback he would be, even after his first couple years in San Diego.
Yeah, and his shoulder was.
And then he had the shoulder surgery. I mean, his shoulder got destroyed.
Randy Moss made Culpepper look a lot better than what he was, though.
I mean, every quarterback looked good with Randy Moss.
That's what I'm saying. Like he just literally Randall Cunningham looked like he was the greatest quarterback that year.
Look at the quarterbacks he had. He had Randall Cunningham, Dante Culpepper, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And each year, each one of those quarterbacks had their best season of their career with him at wide receiver.
That's true. That's true.
You got to throw the ball far. That's all you got to do.
Just throw it up, throw it as far and as high as you can. He'll go get it.
That's it, man.
So we got two teams that are kind of fighting for that wild card spot in the Steelers and the Titans. We talked about the Titans a little bit. The Steelers are also playing the Cardinals, so that's kind of Kyler Murray there. That team's they've won 3 games, but they're really not doing much. The team's not very good. Bruce Arians is going to have a tough time rebuilding them, I think. I see both Tennessee and the Steelers winning this game and continuing on. Steelers are still going to have that edge in the wild card. Do you guys see any difference in those, or do you think the Cardinals are going to win? Or
look, I definitely think the Pittsburgh's winning the game, but I think we should take a moment to recognize
Mike Tomlin,
the fact that Mike Tomlin is the best coach in the NFL. If you're talking about his from a leadership standpoint, from a motivational standpoint, he is the anti-Jason Garrett. This is a head coach who had every reason nobody would have really. I wouldn't have faulted them if the Steelers didn't do anything this year, because they had a big losses in the offseason and big losses during the season with Ben Roethlisberger. So, the job that he's done with the team that they started out 0-3, 0-4, something like that.
They struggled starting off.
They started off in the worst shape that they've started off in years. And Tomlin circled the wagons and got his guys on the same page, set a bar, and his team has risen to it and exceeded it. And if anything, he's earned an extension. He'll probably get an extension.
Yeah. Well, that's the family there in Pittsburgh, the owners and stuff. They
take care of their coaches.
Man. So, Tomlin is just he's a player's coach. All right, am I right?
Yeah, he's a player's coach. Yeah,
and they rose to him. I mean, they fight for this man.
Yeah,
it is actually it's a cool thing to see that when you have coaches that are not players coach per se, and they just like, here's the game plan. If you don't run it, we'll just replace you with somebody else. It's like those coaches,
they rule by fear.
They're like numbers, they're just kind of like how many numbers, and then you move on. But to see players like rise up to the occasion to play for their coach is pretty cool to see. Honestly, it's pretty cool to see.
Well, and I've been pretty critical of Mike Tomlin over the years. I thought that a lot of the stuff going on there was his fault, that he didn't shut down in the locker room with the Le'Veon Bell, with the Antonio Brown. It's clear now that Antonio Brown's just freaking crazy. You know what I mean? So,
and he's finally realizing it now, trying to beg his way back in.
Yeah, exactly.
Only took 11 or 12 or 13, 14 weeks for that bank account to shrink.
Yeah.
Well, I just heard a report saying the Patriots are out on him. So
no, the Patriots. Yeah, they said they're not bringing him back.
Yep.
Oh man, when the Patriots let you, forget it.
Exactly.
When the Patriots let you go, it's done and done.
And so they're sitting there. They've lost Le'Veon Bell. They lost Antonio Brown. They lost James Conner because he's been injured all freaking year. They lost Mason Rudolph. They're now, by lost, I mean, he's just bad. So they've now got Hodges back there, who is claimed to fame as being a damn duck call champion. They somehow keep winning, man. So Mike Tomlin has done a good job. I can't deny it. He's definitely earned an extension there.
I think he's coach of the year. I think regardless of who has the best record, I think what he's done is that substantial that he should be the NFL coach of the year.
What about John Harbaugh?
It's your talent on the field. Can we say that any head coach would do what he's done with Lamar Jackson? I won't say that, but he has a lot of talent out there in Baltimore. Lot of talent. The situation with Pittsburgh, not even close to being the same. And they're
but Harbaugh knows how to use his talent well when other teams.
It's pretty.
Like if he went to the,
I don't think a lot of teams would have taken that gamble. The gamble that John Harbaugh took to get Lamar Jackson and revamp the entire offense.
Have you watched Lamar Jackson play at Louisville? Did you watch his games?
Yeah, you realize that no one drafted him in the first round for a reason. They came up and got him at the back end. No one else wanted to do that.
They may have got him at a bargain, but he was going to get drafted by a top tier team to become a starting quarterback. If you watch this film in college, the dude was doing the same thing in college. He was doing the same thing. He was running all over defenses. He was making throws off his back leg. He was making throws while getting destroyed. Back of the corner of the end zone, perfect throw.
Hey, Johnny Manziel did a lot in college too.
Johnny Manziel's not. How tall is Johnny Manziel compared to Lamar Jackson? I don't think they're even close in terms of size.
I'm sure Johnny Manziel is about 6 foot or something, and Lamar Jackson's about 6'4", I think.
Yeah, 6'4", lanky athlete, and he's got an arm. You can
still put him with a bad coach that want to change up his style.
You put him with the coach that tries to force a prototypical style on him. You're not doing him a service.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like, not to bring up Tebow or anything, but they put when they change in Denver, when they changed the style of the offense to fit Tebow, they begin to win a little bit more. They actually,
but you also got to think of this.
And they just ran the ball 60 times again.
Yeah, we changed the style of the team, but at some point you have to be able to throw the football.
Hey man, he threw it. He threw it against
Pittsburgh against a zero defense, a zero all-out blitz. You threw a slant route
without Ryan Clark, who couldn't play because he's got the sickle cell stuff.
Yeah,
so
he couldn't play in that temperature or in that altitude.
Nothing made me happier because I can't stand Ben Roethlisberger. I have a personal story about Ben Roethlisberger that reason why I can't stand the guy. So concerning golf courses, man, the guy comes to Florida and he just thinks he doesn't have to wait in line. He was at this golf course in Central Florida. He just shows up with his friends and just walks on the course and starts playing.
Tebow?
No, man,
Roethlisberger.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Oh, Roethlisberger. I was like, what? Fuck Tebow!
Ben Roethlisberger. He just was such a snarky jerk about the whole thing. He's like,
I've heard he's an asshole.
Yeah. So, like, I'm Ben Roethlisberger. I'm playing golf. Didn't even pay. Just showed up and we're waiting, and I'm like, oh, at first you're like, holy crap, it's Ben Roethlisberger, and you're like, holy crap, what a jerk, So it's like, wow.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Well, we are running up against it, guys. One last one. Let me quick get your take. Seahawks at Rams. The Rams, who have been floundering this year, don't look like the same team against the Seahawks, who we all pretty much said one of the best teams in the NFL. Do you guys see the Rams putting up a fight against the Seahawks at all?
I think it'll be. I think it'll be 10-point game to Seattle. It's going to be the Rams. It's just like you said. It's not the same team. Their defense isn't playing the same. They're playing better on defense, but their offense has been streaky, and I hate how the media anoints these teams as resurgent when they have a good game against a team that they should blow out, like when they beat the Cardinals. Jeff Goff throws 3 or 4 touchdown passes, and now they're talking about, they're back on track. No, they beat a sorry team. You know how good a good team is when they beat other good teams consistently, and they haven't been able to do that. So I think that they'll play a strong first half to keep it close, but I think at the end of the day, the fourth quarter, Seattle takes a 10-point, maybe 13-point win.
There you go. What about you, Jay?
For whatever reason, the Rams always play well against Seattle over the years. So I don't know. I think Seattle will probably crush them, honestly. But they sometimes don't play well against the Rams for whatever reason. So
yeah,
what happens?
Well, and the Rams don't have much of a home field advantage in LA. I can tell you, as much as people don't give a shit about the Chargers, people don't give a shit about the Rams either.
Why? Why do they not care about football in LA?
I don't know, man. They're weird. They don't even show up to Lakers games till halfway through the second quarter. LA people are weird, man.
Traffic, man. No one wants to drive in that traffic.
That's part of it.
Man, traffic is nothing. Come to Atlanta.
Man, Miami traffic's pretty bad.
Come to Atlanta. It is the worst.
It's always wherever you're at the time, it's always the worst traffic you've ever had in your life. That's been my experience living all around the country. But guys, it's been awesome. Thanks for coming here. We're a minute away from kickoff right now, so we are going to say goodbye. Make sure you check out these guys, Jay or Drunk 3PO. Ruthie's been dropping links in chat the whole time. And then Uche Wanere, the observant lineman. Thank you guys for joining me today. We're going to try to make this regular thing, so hopefully you will see us back here next week around the same time talking about more playoff implications. But thanks, everybody. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
Fun watching football.